Hello there, theater people. Welcome back to Thespis in the Green Room. Bruce and I are bringing you another Thespis Intermission Mini-Cast today. These are, of course, our short format episodes that run about the length of an intermission. So, Bruce, what's today's topic?
Well, today we are talking about auditions, every actor's favorite part of the business. Am I right? Tell me I'm right.
Exactly. Yes, of course. I mean, who doesn't like to get up in front of a
Uh,
panel of people,
oh, God.
half of whom aren't even paying attention to you, and then act and dance or sing your heart out, only to be picked apart and basically asked to do something completely different or just basically be a completely different actor?
I know. It's fun. It really
So
is.
much fun.
And because theaters are starting to announce their 21, 22 seasons, and some of the shows that they're bringing back that were part of previous seasons maybe are not cast, they're filling these in, and so they're having auditions. So we thought this would be the appropriate time to talk about how much fun those auditions really are.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gone well for you in the past, hasn't it, Melanie? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Still a little, still.
Well, sometimes it is fun. It just depends. Sometimes it's a positive experience. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking, especially when you go into it.
Mhm.
But sometimes you can come out and it has been a positive experience and sometimes positive results, which is also
Mhm.
nice.
Sure.
Other times it's a bit crazy though, or they just ask for insane things or they're just not interested. They're clearly not interested in you
Right.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I know. I hear you. I've been on some of those cattle call type of auditions. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
kind of reflecting back to SCTC, where you're in a room with probably, I don't know, sometimes 50 judges, all at tables, and then you're kind of herded in with 20 to 30 other actors. You're all numbered. You have to file in like you're in grade school. You have to sit very quietly, and then you move over chair by chair as you approach your time to audition. It's really quite amazing. I mean, they have it organized to a T. I mean, and they give you
Oh,
this
yeah.
great big spiel at the begin. This is what to expect. This is what you'll do. This is where you'll stand just before. This is how long you'll speak to the accompanist before you head up to the stage. Everything is just got to be just so. And it can be a little daunting. I mean, it's very nerve-wracking, I'd say, because, again, you've got people all around you. Everybody's warming up. You're hearing trills everywhere you turn. People are singing little bits of their song. They're doing. I mean, it's like every stereotypical thing you've seen, happen backstage at auditions is happening in the room around you, and it's really kind of interesting. People are kind of flexing. I mean, it's this time to kind of show your peers how good you are, let alone the judges you're going to be performing for.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I got to say, I was kind of nervous and scared to death about the whole experience the first time that I went, and but it really wasn't that bad. And the judges, well, they are intimidating because, again, it's a sea of them. They're just sitting out there staring at you, and of course, they've heard every monologue and every song 1,000 times. So you're
Mm.
trying to come with something that hopefully will be fresh, hopefully will be something they haven't heard more than 3 or 4 times that day. And you get up and you kind of give your best and hope you haven't forgotten to say your name or say it in the right order, or you've forgotten your lyrics or what have you, and you get up there, do your thing, and get down. But it is a well-oiled machine, and I gotta say, these
Mm.
accompanists that the company people, for their musical numbers are just incredible because they play everything and any key, and any tempo, and he just wants a few minutes of your time or a few seconds of your time to say, okay, how fast are we doing this? Give me a little tempo. Here's the key. Where are we starting? Where are we stopping? I mean, it's just amazing how much they do and they pack in that short amount of
Mhm.
time. Because of course, at like an STTC, they're seeing 1,000 people
Oh, yeah.
over the course of a couple of days. So it's really an interesting experience. Not my favorite, and not a one I've done more than a couple of times in that type of setting. But it was a good experience. I'm glad I did it. Again, I don't know if I'll ever do it again as I've gotten older and stuff. There's less opportunities, but you never know. I guess you see people of all ages
Mm.
auditioning because, of course, there's roles for all ages. Most shows have a variety, or most seasons have a variety of cast types, sizes, and ages, and so on. So they're casting for a variety of things in that type of a audition setting. But interesting experience.
Not only all that in this kind of high pressure situation, but you have to do it all in 90 seconds, and they do
That's right.
cut you off.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's they do. They say thank you, and it's like, oh, I mean, you could be right
You're
mid-verse,
done.
mid-word, mid-whatever. I got cut off my first time. I thought I was. I mean, because I really, because that's the part of the preparation too. You're planning and
Mhm.
getting this all down within that 90-second format, and you're trying to show off a little bit of something. That's, I guess, the most nerve-wracking part. And so when you think you finally got it into your time frame, you think, oh, no big deal, I've got this, and then you find all of a sudden maybe you breathed just a little bit too long, or you said your
Mm.
name, you maybe didn't figure your name when you get up there. So if you haven't thought of those things when you're doing it, yeah, you're all of a sudden over time, and yep, they cut you off straight away because it's on to the next person. Yeah.
Mhm. And it's madness because you have to show them all your talent. So it's I mean, you can do it sing first and then monologue, or you can
Hmm.
monologue first and then sing.
Right.
But it really is like monologue, monologue. I am acting, and dun 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 dun, and I'm
Yeah.
singing, 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 and thank you very much. I'm done.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
It's like,
It's it.
what just
It is.
happened? Like literally 90 seconds. And if you're just an actor and you don't sing, you only have 60 seconds. So you have to do a
Exactly.
60-second audition.
Mhm.
It's
Yep,
just,
for that setting. Now, it's a little different, of course, in the community theater world or even the professional world.
mm,
Sometimes will have a little bit
yeah,
more time, especially if you're on a one-on-one. I've been in some auditions where they just bring you in by yourself, and it's a little bit more relaxed. They're not trying to rush you, and they do take your time, with you. And so, I mean, that's always a whole lot easier. I mean, it's still nerve-wracking, but it's a different
sure.
set of nerves, and it's almost it's a more positive set of nerves, I think, than when you're doing it
Yeah.
in that big cattle call type of setting. But
And you're not really worried about you're not gonna get cut off in most cases.
exactly.
I mean, even if they tell you, "We want a 2-minute audition package," or whatever, in most cases, they're not there with a
Yeah,
stopwatch.
that's right.
So, if you need to take an acting beat, if you need to take an extra breath, whatever that is,
Mhm.
you do,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna impact your audition.
Right.
But the SETC cattle calls are, they're a beast unto
They really
themselves.
are. And if it's a callback setting, then it's usually, again, a little bit more relaxed because they're wanting to get to know you a little bit. So that they do
Right.
take a little bit more time and give you a chance to choose what you'd like to sing and sing a little bit more of, and they might throw something at you. But it's, again, you have more time to do it. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't wanna take all day. I went to some auditions in New York, and
Mhm, mhm,
it's not, I mean, even if it's a big cattle call thing, and I went to a few of those in New York, there's still not timed like SETC.
mhm.
I'm sure they will cut you off if they've seen enough, but
Yep,
you're not, like,
yep.
worried about this stopwatch kinda thing cutting you off.
Yeah. I did an audition in New York, I forgot about years and years ago. I went, and actually it was for a theme park, and that was held in New York. I happened to know that it was gonna be in New York, and I was interested in, what is the theme park? One of those. It wasn't like Disney, and it wasn't, Universal.
Six
No, it wasn't
Flags
Six
or
Flags. It was more.
Hershey Park,
Nope. It was one of the, oh, geez, what, now I'm gonna, like, have to.
Busch
That's what it
Gardens.
was, Busch Gardens. So,
Ah.
I was thinking some kind of gardening place, but anyway.
No gardening
No
there.
gardening. But so, and that was a big deal as far as the number of people and what was happening. But again, that didn't feel as rushed, as like an
Mhm.
SCTC audition. So yeah. So interesting,
Yeah.
interesting stuff. What about you? Come on, Millie. You've got to have some great stories if you auditioned in New
Oh,
York more than once.
oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah. So without disclosing the particular place, because I'm not gonna burn any bridges. But and this was many, many years ago, but I went into one audition, and it was a very competitive situation. Okay, there was lots of us. And we had to do monologues first. It wasn't a musical thing, it
Right.
was just acting.
Okay.
So we had to do some monologues for them first. And so they ran through everybody, everybody went in, did their pieces, and then went back into the waiting room. And then they brought us in a big group, everybody who auditioned.
Hmm.
And then we started, I guess you'd call them theater games or exercises,
Mm.
if that's what you want to call them. They were
This is sounding good.
uh,
Keep going. Keep
oh
going.
my gosh. So this is pretty typical for acting school, perhaps the beginning of rehearsals, acting exercises. This is not the unusual part.
Mhm.
But they have you start moving around the room. You're in a kind of studio setup.
Right.
Okay, move around the studio. Move, everybody just walk. Just walk at your own pace. And everybody's kind of inevitably you get into this kind of circle pattern, usually, maybe a little zigzaggy, but
Right.
people are just walking. And then typically in these theater class, theater exercise, theater like warm up type scenarios, and typically the director, the teacher, whoever's leading it, will bark out some commands, So that
Like
wasn't
drop, stop, and
again.
roll or something. Stop, drop, and
Well,
roll. Something like that?
not
No?
so much like that. Like pick an animal and think about how that animal moves and move like that animal, or lead with a certain part of your body, like lead with your head or lead with your hips or something like that,
Right.
just to get you in the zone of whatever the topic is of the day.
Okay.
So, like doing weird, strange stuff, like walking around doing kind of a weird walk kind of thing based on the cue you're given. I mean, that's not so unusual for
Right.
actors. We do that a
Sure.
lot.
Right.
But I don't know. I had never experienced this particular command before. I just will never forget it. So they start handing out like a rod, like it looks like a portion of a broom handle.
Okay. Right.
It's not that long, but it's a portion.
Okay. So like a dowel
And
or something.
yeah, but a relatively thick one, like
Okay.
the width of a broom handle.
Okay.
And so we all have this stick, right?
So they're handing out sticks. Okay.
They're handing out sticks. And they say, okay, keep moving, keep walking around the room. You have your stick, and become one with the stick. The stick is an appendage. Find a place where this stick is growing off of your body
Oh
and
no.
become one with this stick. It's one
I
with you.
can see all
And
the
I'm just
sticks
like,
now.
what? Like I had never. I mean, I'm sure there's some relevance to that. But at the time and still today, I'm kind of like, what the heck? Become one with the stick?
I
Did
want to
you really
know.
just say that?
I want to know how many sticks were penises. That's what I want to know. Come on.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure, I wasn't really paying attention so much to what other people were doing because I was sitting there going, what? Okay, where am I sticking my stick? I don't know. Like, what would be appropriate? What's the right answer for this audition? Am I supposed to have a third hand
Right.
or a unicorn or what's happening here? Just
Bizarre.
like it was so like, and I really. I'll just never forget these, and they were so serious about it. That's another part of this. It's not like this was a fun, playful kind of environment. It was a very stern, serious, this is the craft of acting.
Yeah. Don't you dare have fun.
Okay. Okay. I know exactly. And that the whole audition, the whole group section was like that. So I'm just like, become one with the stick. Are these people for real? What the heck is going? I don't even know. And so, but we got through that portion, and then the next exercise. And I guess this is not unusual. I'm sure this is some practice somewhere that has some fantastic merit. But at the time, and frankly, still, I don't go, still, well, I kind of maybe can see, maybe. Anyway, at the time, they divided the group in half and they say, okay, you guys on this side of the room and you guys on the other side of the room. Okay, and everybody line up across from somebody. So you partner up basically, and you're standing like you're about ready to do-si-do. So you're standing across from somebody. And then they say, okay, now go to the far ends of the room that you're on. So, like that line moved all the way to the edge, and we moved all the way to the opposite edge of the room. And we sat down on the floor. We were told to sit down on the floor.
Right.
And you're still looking at your partner who's now way on the other side of the room. They start saying, okay, You're at an international border. You're desperate to cross, but you don't speak each other's language. So I want you to shout at the person, your partner on the other side of the room in gibberish, begging to come across the border, and they're the only people that can help get you across.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, so I have to like in gibberish. And if you don't know what gibberish means, that just means made up language, just no defined language. Just make syllables and noises coming out of your mouth like you're
Lots of
speaking
Klingon. Lots of Klingon was happening.
And I'm supposed to be yelling, like desperately yelling at the person across from me because I desperately need their help to get across this fake border. And it's a life or death. And I have to make them understand me, but we don't speak the same language.
That's too funny.
And they were, again, so serious about it. Now, okay, I guess I can, and this is where I was headed before. I can kind of see why this might be an exercise because, you're trying to express something with the tone of your voice, with your body language, or you're trying to communicate with something other than actual words.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's what they were looking for, and I get that. And they were really heightening the stakes. They were making it really dramatic, but I don't know, just the way. I mean, because then you had like this in a room full of like 40 actors yelling gibberish. I mean, it must have been a sight.
I can only imagine. Yeah, that's what you want to be. You want to be like an observer in all this, to really see. Yeah, that's hysterical.
So I was just like, oh my God. But again, they were so serious about it. And then there was an interview section afterwards. And again, so serious. And I was just, I don't know. And I have to say, I was quite serious when I was in New York because that mindset was very, very common. And it actually, to some extent, sucked the joy out of acting for me. It's called a play for a reason. Now, I'm not saying don't take your craft seriously,
Right. No.
of course, but it's got to be fun too.
It has to be.
There's got to be a balance there. And it's hilarious. Before I moved to Scotland, I left New York and did a summer intensive in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is right outside of Boston, with the Russians. The Russians from the Moscow Art Theater School came over and ran this acting intensive. And the frickin' Russians brought the fun back for me.
Wow, that's incredible.
And, it makes me laugh. We had so much fun. We did crazy, silly theater games there, too. But it just did not feel so ridiculous as it did in this other audition where it become one with the stick. And I think that had to do with, again, that kind of atmosphere of militant seriousness about something that is absurd, really. Right. And again, I don't want to disrespect. I'm sure there's point and purpose to that. And I can kind of see maybe some of the point and purpose, but I don't know. You just have to find that balance.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's just like in anything. It's all about balance. Yeah. That's hysterical. Wow.
To flip that a little bit, I'll tell you something really stupid that I did in an audition one time.
Please do.
So instead of criticizing the people running on the audition, I'm happy to make fun of myself for a second here. I was at another very prestigious audition and I was very excited to be there and I really wanted to impress. And it was a big audition. I'll just say it was for grad school. It was for a very prestigious grad school. And it was being held at a hotel.
Okay.
And they had taken over several of the conference and ballrooms to run this audition. And there were so many people auditioning for this program that they divided us up into groups, into small groups,
right,
for our first round. So for our first round, we had to go before a panel of one or two people. And then if they passed us on to the next round, then there'd be a bigger panel and so on and so forth.
Right.
So this was the initial audition. I had traveled for this too, by the way. I had traveled for this. And I was so prepared. I was so excited. And I went into this room and you're trained as an actor when you're doing auditions to keep your light on is one thing they say. It's like look alive, look like you have some energy in your body, have your face look like it's on and ready to receive and ready to present. There's an alertness and an energy that you're supposed to have even from the time you walk into the room, as opposed to just shuffling in,
Right.
looking like you just rolled out of bed. That's not the energy you want.
Sure.
And you want to make eye contact, not when you're usually 9 times out of 10, not when you're actually delivering your monologue, because they don't want to be your scene partner most of the time.
Right.
But when you first walk in, when you're still supposed to be a human, like a normal human,
Right.
and they're normal humans, you want to make eye contact and be friendly like you would in a job interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I walk into this room. I'm in this like little mini conference room, and it's just thank goodness there was only one person that did
Oh
not.
no.
Oh my gosh! So there's just one person on this panel doing the initial screening. So I walk in, my light is on, I'm up, I've got my energy flowing. Hello, good morning. I'm Melanie, and this is my monologue, and whatever you say. Fine, did my monologue, whatever. I did like 2 or 3 pieces, and then it was time for me to leave. So again, I kind of had this. You know how when you meet the queen, you're not supposed to turn your back on the queen
Right.
as you leave the room?
Right.
This
Yep.
kind of etiquette
Kind of
thing.
back
So
out.
you're supposed to back out of the room.
Oh.
So I, of course, wanted to maintain some eye contact, and I didn't want to be rude and turn my back and just leave. So I'm kind of still smiling, still energized, sort of backing out of the room, but trying to leave with purpose, but honestly not watching where I was going.
Oh no.
And I reach for the doorknob and I exit and close the door behind me, and I'm in the dark. And I had exited into a coat closet.
Oh no.
So then I had to come out of the coat closet. This man was looking at me like I was a moron,
Oh,
and
that's
I was.
so funny.
I
That
had
is
to find the
hysterical.
actual exit door and leave the room.
Oh gosh.
And needless to say, I did not make it past the initial
Oh,
audition. Like, this girl literally can't act her way out of the room.
right.
Like,
Oh, that is so
literally
funny.
can't get out of the room. So there you go. So sometimes the auditions are stupid, and sometimes the auditionee is stupid.
That is hysterical.
It was too funny.
Oh my
Ah,
god.
and when I got out of there, I just I mean, what can you do? I cracked
Yeah.
up.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I was not gonna cry about it. I'm like,
No,
dude,
there's no time.
if they don't see the humor in that, then this isn't the place for me.
Right. Right. Oh, that is so funny though. Oh my goodness.
So yeah. So yeah, we've all done beautiful things in auditions like that before.
I think that for me would have been I would have loved to have seen you come back out and then leave kind of like nothing happened. And if you would have done that, if I would have been the audition with him, okay, we need to have this one because that was that's just priceless. That's great.
Oh gosh. I mean, there was that moment where I was in the coat closet where I was like,
Do I come?
"Oh,
What do I do? Do I come back out?
what do I
Oh,
do?"
and was it dark? Was the coat closet dark? Oh,
Yes, it was dark.
that's hysterical.
I just, because I was so focused on him and keeping my light on and, like trying to exit with grace and with respect and exit right into a coat closet.
That's priceless. That is priceless. Too many doors. Too many doors in the audition
Too
room.
many doors in that room. And there wasn't like a stage manager or anybody like that who was guiding you in and out.
Right.
It was literally just you and the person auditioning you
Yeah.
at that stage. So
Yeah, I think that is so easy to do. I think that would be so easy to do just because, again, you're so focused on what's happening that, it would be easy to get turned around. Oh, that's great.
that's probably, I mean, I've done some other ridiculous things in auditions, both stuff that was asked of me and stupid stuff that I did. But, That's probably one of the highlights.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Well, we'd love to hear from our listeners and maybe some of and some of the antics that they have had to put up with or been involved with their auditionings. So come let us know what some of your memorable auditions and experiences were when you've been chasing your acting dreams out there. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So reach out to us on our social media. You can get to us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. We also post on YouTube and we can check comments there as well. Just reach out to us. Or of course we do take comments on our actual podcast homepage. So you can comment under each episode. So talk to us. Let us know. We'd love to hear your audition or interview crazy stories. We'd love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Melanie, until next time, we'll see you later.
All righty,
All
Bruce.
right, bye-bye.
Bye.